Maria Geyer. Chips, our fish and chips sports wrap up. Maria, how are you?
Good, thanks, Scotty, and all the better to be with you. It has been ages.
It has been ages. Well, I've been on holidays and you've been working?
Yes, down to Perth for work. And I had a holiday in there as well, off to Sydney and Melbourne. So, we've both been jetting about, haven't we?
Yeah, but you did pop in and have a bit of a sports
wrap-up
with
I caught up with Ronnie a couple of times. That was really nice.
What's been happening in the world of sports? You been playing any sports lately?
No, Scotty, no. I've been a bit slack.
You've been training, no doubt.
Oh, yes, I've been doing my training stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but look, I'm sure that you haven't told everyone about golf. I really want to hear how you went.
Well...
Have you said much about that, Scotty? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I did mention it last Monday.
Oh, did you?
It was a great golfing trip. A couple of days in Darwin, of course, on the bombing trip, and then jumped on the Big Bird and flew down to Melbourne.
Very exciting.
And then jumped in the bus and drove up to...
Played down there before?
No.
Oh.
No. Anyway, we drove up to the Murray River, basically, and we played some of the most beautiful golf courses that I've ever played on.
Is that right?
Oh,
yeah.
Some sensational golf courses.
No black scrapes down there?
No black scrapes down there, no. Greens, we didn't putt very well. None of us putted very well.
We got a bit weird,
we started getting reasonably, we started getting better.
Did you? That's good, Scotty.
In the last game.
In the last game. Save the best for last?
Putted a couple that made me strut around the green a bit. But,
nice work.
I think most of us that went down and played on greens have a very, very we look at the pros and see them putting it in one putt on a regular basis and go, how the hell do they do it?
Well, look, it would help to have a bit more practice on those sort of greens.
Well, I think if you had a lot of practice, you'd putt very well. Shall we? Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I did have 2 seconds. That was my claim to... I got an eagle on the first day.
Fancy, wonderful.
That was pretty good.
Impressive indeed.
I chipped in, and I was pretty happy about that. And the person I was playing with, I think she didn't see eagles very often. She made a big hullabaloo about it more than I did. But so that was my claim to fame.
Oh, that's great.
But well done to Peter Bogger Riley, who was the standout golfer down...
was he?
Down in Victoria.
He excelled.
Oh, he did. His iron play was absolutely superb. He was landing on greens left, right and centre. Pity he couldn't putt. At one stage, he was putting for eight birdies in a game.
My goodness.
He didn't get any of them, apparently, but...
that sounds good, doesn't it?
It does sound very well, but I mean, you've got to put it on the green.
Yes,
to putt for a bird.
Yes, that's right.
But while we're talking golf, why don't we talk about the Australian Open first off?
Oh my goodness, up and coming 22-year-old.
Yeah,
Cameron Davis. Yes,
who was amateur champion at that course, the Australian Golf Club in Sydney.
Right,
it's a beautiful club. Sort of on your left-hand side as you drive down to Mascot Airport.
Okay.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Jack Nicklaus design course, and he's 63 on the first day. He sort of held his own for the.
Did you pick him, Scotty? Did you think he'd come through? No.
For the next 2 days, but then came home strong in the last day as well.
And just won by one stroke or something, is that right?
Yeah. But well done to him. He was the amateur champion a couple of years ago, and now he's booked himself a place for the British Open next year.
That's amazing, isn't it?
At Carnoustie.
Kind of crazy to think of talent at that age and such a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, and he was in tears. And his name's on the Stonehaven Cup with 102 other great Australian and world golfers that have contested it over the years. 102nd time they played the Australian Open.
Can't
so well
ask
done.
for much more than that,
Australian
surely.
Open. And Jason Day, poor fella,
didn't have such a good run.
Well, he had 3 very good days.
And then what happened, Scotty?
And his Wheels fell
Fell
off.
off. Oh no!
Well, yeah, that's
happens
it.
to the best of us
It does,
from
but,
time to time.
You know, you want your wheels to fall off maybe on the second day.
Yes, not on the last day.
You know, or maybe the first day.
Yeah, well, that would hurt.
But that's unfortunately Jason Day's just not been able to string 4 good games of golf in a row recently.
That's tough.
But he's still
Shining star
an unbelievable golfer, and
maybe he's just going through one of those
the world's
phases.
greatest golfers with Jordan Spieth. He didn't have a great game either, but maybe a bit of jet lag or
I think it's a bit like pool, Scotty. Some day you're on, some day you're off. Pool.
As in
A table.
snooker.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a great game.
There is a comparison. Right, enough of golf.
Okay, yes.
Although the Summer Cup, of course, still being played at Lake Kununurra Golf Club.
Yeah, great. Still got
right up until the
quite a few more
24th
weeks.
right up until the 24th of March.
Oh,
so
whoa, you've got months,
time.
4 months.
Yeah.
That's right.
How's
to
your
get on
husband
down
hitting it?
there. Yeah, I think he did okay the other day.
Did he? I haven't
but
caught up.
he doesn't really speak well of his game ever, so it's hard to know.
The thing about, and we are still talking about golf, the thing about golf is
we'll move on.
The better you get, the handicap comes down.
I know, so you get a bit hamstrung on the way, don't you?
You do, but it's great.
Just means you have to really keep lifting your game, Scotty. I like that about golf.
Right, that's it for golf.
Okay, we're done. Moving on. So what about Australia? What's Australia about to do with the...
I'm just bringing... my computer died just as we were... doing the weather.
Okay, so
I
I'm of
lost
course
all my
talking about the
websites that I had.
Ashes.
We are only 29 runs behind, but they have played very well. And,
But looking to win the first test?
Yeah, down at Gabba.
First Ashes test in Brisbane. That's very
They got
exciting
29
news.
runs to get. We'll just do a quick score update.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Cameron Bancroft, the opening batsman, is 60, and Davey Warner is at 76. And
great, still looking strong.
The openers putting on 140 runs so far.
Wow.
Trailed by 29 runs and looking strong.
Indeed.
There's a lot of new names in the the England team.
Yeah.
And a lot of new names in the Australian team as well. But a lot of new names.
Whole new batch of guys.
Well, not too many new names in the Australian team. Those who know their cricket would be familiar with a lot of them. But a lot of new names in the England team that we've never seen before. So... the pressure's on them right from the first.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
But if we're going to talk about cricket, we should really talk about...
Of course, what's happening tomorrow night in town, Scotty?
Yeah, well...
Okay, where are we going?
One thing about this test, though, is the captain, Stephen Smith.
Oh, he's doing a fantastic
Unbelievable.
job. Yeah.
His 21st century.
Wow.
He was slow to get underway with his centuries, but in the last 4.5 years, he scored 21 centuries.
Wow, that's a heck of a number, isn't it?
One of the greatest batsmen of all time, Ricky Ponting, has come out and said that Steve Smith has the potential of being the greatest of the modern era.
Wow.
He is tracking along even better than Sachin Tendulkar was at this early stage. Jack Callis
Wow,
at this early stage. I mean, for a start,
what a comparison.
You've got Donald Bradman, who is streets ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, never will be.
Well,
will forever hold that title.
You need a freak to come along and beat his record. But the modern game, Stephen Smith is just doing unbelievable. He's had a great 141 not out, I think it was. 141 not out.
Goodness me,
a
Scotty.
real captain's knock. And
you're actually making me want to watch the game.
That is one of the great things of cricket, the captain's knock.
Yeah.
To see a captain come out and lead from the front like that is just inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
what morale there must be in that team.
He is just doing a brilliant job and taking some good catches as well.
Yeah,
but yes,
beautiful.
You're right. Cricket is, of course, the first test nearly over and done with down in
Australia.
The Ashes should be a very, very good competition.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the great
much enjoyed by
one of the great
Australia.
cricketers.
Oh yes,
one of the great cricketers of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Was he into the 80s? I don't know. Maybe very early 80s. But
if you know your cricket, you will know the man who's coming to town tomorrow.
An absolute legend of the game, Doug Walters.
Yes.
Coming to Kununurra tomorrow.
Tomorrow night at the Sporties, 5:30. Everyone, come along. It's free, Scotty.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And Now, who's organising that?
Vicky Eccleston, yes,
East Kimberley
the
Cricket
president
Association?
of the East Kimberley Cricket Association. She has apparently organised for Doug to come to Kununurra and discuss his career and tell us all about how he's earned the title of the legend, and he is a legend.
He certainly is. We've been mentioning Doug Walters.
Yeah, Ronnie's spoken about him.
Yeah,
too,
and he debuted against England in the first Test back in 1965, scoring 155 runs.
Impressive.
Straight away.
Yeah, made his mark there, didn't he?
Straight away. Anybody who gets a century on debut,
is sure to impress the masses.
It impresses the masses, all right. But to do it against the old enemy England back in 1965, just brilliant. He was the 5th youngest to wear the baggy green for Australia, and of course, for those who know their cricket, he was, if he wasn't already a legend, when he scored 100 in a session by hitting Bob Willis for a 6 on the last ball of the day.
He secured
that was during the 70s. Well, that is one of the hardest things to do in cricket, to score a century in a session.
Yeah,
that is unbelievable.
Quite staggering to think about.
He was inducted into the Cricket Hall of Fame back in 2011. He is a dead set legend, and he will be here in Kununurra tomorrow.
So if you want to meet a legend and hear him tell his story,
and you know he is stories after stories after stories, and because they used to have a stand at the SCG named after him.
Fantastic.
And when I went to the cricket at the SCG on a regular basis, I'd always
stand there?
I'd always sit in the Dougie Walters
great.
stand. It was just, in fact, they used to put the Barmy Army in the Dougie Walters stand.
And what is the Barmy Army, Scotty?
Well, they're the English supporters.
Oh, okay, of course.
You know,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, just, hey, you guys sit here. Remember what happened?
You go and sit at the Dougie Walters stand.
Yeah, nice.
And give it your best shot. Bring it on. The SCG test, always a great test. That's the New Year's test. Always great. I'm looking forward to seeing Doug.
So come along, everyone, because it is free, and it would be great to support such a iconic sports athlete, star. Legend.
A legend, and I reckon that we will hear some very funny stories.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to hearing. Well, I'd like I'd ask a few questions. I'd ask. Who is the greatest cricketer that he's played against, and who's the greatest cricketer that he's seen?
Right. Yes, they're good questions, Scotty.
And then define batsman and bowler, which
define.
because
I like that.
He would have seen some of the world's greatest cricketers. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. Okay.
And of course the West Indies as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing him speak for sure.
And also of course going back to 1965, covering some old champions. It'd be brilliant. Looking forward to it. That's happening at the Order River Sports Club. We have been talking about it on Warringah for quite a while.
So come and find out what the hype's all about.
Tomorrow, 5:30.
Yeah,
Doug
great.
Walters here in Kununurra.
Hey, Scotty, I was hoping to get Landy Bradshaw, the president of Touch Footy, or someone from the club to come down, but no one was able to make this time. You know, it clashes with work, apparently. So anyway, but, they finished up for the season. They had another great final. They've certainly had some great players. And Touch Footy, because Landy took over from Sam Bodycote, who started about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's done a great job as president this year, and the club is just still growing. So we just read out their results, because the Smashed Crabs, the men's team, defeated the Tricky Bandits 4-2, and the best on ground for that game was Sam Casey. I'm actually not familiar with, but the ladies, the One Red Brew defeated Try Me 3-0, and the best on ground went to Oakey James. And for the season, the highest try scorer was Yasmin Lewis for the ladies. She's also an awesome netball player, and I'm imagining whatever she does, she probably does it pretty well.
Must be fit as fiddle.
Yes. Young mum, 2 bubs, doing well. And highest try scorer for the men's was Michael Walters. Is that in the name? Maybe. Got that as your last name, you do all right. Best and fairest ladies was Kiara Jade and also Dakota Shaw, so well done, ladies. And the best and fairest men men's was another great guy we love, Nicholas Allen.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, so well done,
I
Nicholas.
caught up with Nick on the weekend.
Did
you? Yeah, he's... not only is he a very good... I didn't know he was a touch footballer.
Yeah, but also, so he plays.
I reckon once he gets up on his toes, he'd be pretty quick, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Hey?
he does all right out
I
there.
bet he does. I bet he does.
Go, Nick.
You know, he was a very fine cricketer.
Yes, indeed.
And he's also a very, very fine fisherman too.
I was just going to say
Yeah,
that, Scotty.
yeah.
Hey, right. Go, Nick.
He's pulled out many, many barra from the Ord
I
River.
know, and missed
He's
a few cricket games to do so.
yeah.
Hey, we also should give thanks to Warren Shaw, Corey Rasmussen, Oscar Murta, Mitch Walters for refereeing
Yeah.
on the night, and those guys help out a lot. Nick also refs, as we said. So well done to Kununurra Touch football again for another great season. And
Well done. Any other sport being played around the traps at the moment?
Look,
I think there's a bit of squash going on.
Yeah,
isn't there?
squash. There's junior squash on Tuesday night. My boys have been getting into that and loving it.
Lawn bowls.
Lawn bowls, and there's actually Friday. What's it called? Just
like barefoot
friendly.
bowls.
Yeah, that's right. Go down there. Anyone can play. It's just join in, and whoever's there on the day they make up teams on the night, I should say.
We drove back from country Victoria on a Friday afternoon-ish, into Melbourne, and we drove past a couple of bowling clubs.
Did you?
And
How'd
the
they
crowds there were
Thick,
huge.
were they?
Absolutely, all barefoot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. It's a
it
great...
is
social comp. They were the words that my mind was not finding before.
Yeah. But down there they call it barefoot bowls. But, they all finish work and they've all got a few
What a
bevies.
great relaxing way to,
and
nice.
they're rolling a few balls.
Moderate those beers, Scotty, as you also participate in a bit of activity.
I saw one of my brother's Facebook pages the other day, and
he said,
playing? "Yeah, he said I must be getting old. I've joined the local lawn bow tour."
And not just for our seniors, Scotty, is it? It's all sorts of ages.
And you watch the Commonwealth Games and things like that. All the lawn bowlers there are all young
full
fellas.
of young people. It's a
young
real
ladies.
art, Scotty, that I've not come close to perfecting.
It is a great game. It is a great game, lawn bowls.
Hey, Scotty, we just should briefly mention Sam Kerr.
I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to talk to her.
Girl.
I couldn't remember her name the other
day.
Yeah,
Samantha Kerr. Yeah, Sam Kerr.
But I remember it was Kerr. But she is arguably the greatest footballer on the planet at the moment.
Well, possibly, yeah.
She is unbelievable.
Got nine goals over the...
I know.
And 2 to win the game.
We were talking about her a couple of weeks ago.
Now,
when she's the sister of Daniel Kerr, who played for the West Coast Eagles.
That's right. Yeah.
When she was a little kid, she honestly believed that the AFL was going to change the rules so that women could play.
Yeah, and she saw that, didn't she?
So she has grown up with boys, with her brothers.
That's right.
And she's as tough as nails.
Master of the ball skills.
And she is unbelievable at the game of soccer.
Yeah.
And the Matildas.
They've been named the sports.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the sports. What did I read? The sports group of
sports team of the year or something.
Yes,
like that.
somewhere. Where did I see that? Yeah. But yes, so that's really good. And Sam Kerr was very magnanimous about her team.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's no I in team, is there?
Well, no.
Although you could argue in Sam's
Kerr. How many run around? 11 run around, don't they?
That's right. But she acknowledged the Matildas for sure.
She's just one of them. But she is definitely high profile. But she is so good, and she makes it, her goal the other day against China, not the game. The game played before, straight off the boot, and it just fired it into this corner.
Yeah, was that the one that's quite far
corner.
out?
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah. Was never going to miss, was it?
That's apparently sent the internet into meltdown. So
great.
Anything that sends the internet into meltdown is pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
What an inspiration she is. Yeah.
And we will be. You and I will be watching Sam Kerr's career for a long time. I reckon.
We will be, Scotty, and we hopefully will be here talking about it.
Loads of other sport played, but we've run out of time.
Oh yeah, Scotty. So just quickly, also, and this is like on a bit of a downer note, but it's still positive. When I was in Perth, I had a lot more to do with constitutions again.
Yeah.
So rolling out, really need to get all the clubs looking at their constitutions, ones who haven't. So I'll be in touch, but if you want to get in touch, get onto it early, give me a ring on 0448 445 348, and I'll talk you through the constitution process.
Yeah, brilliant. So officials and those that look after the running of sports clubs in Kununurra, take note and get in contact with Maria. And of course, let Maria know that you'd love to come in and have a chat about your sport.
And even if you're winding down, just come in and tell us about the highlights of the year and maybe what you want to see happen next year or your plans.
You know, we're 4 weeks away today from Christmas, which means we're 5 weeks away from the end of 2017.
That is scary.
It has flown along.
It really has.
And of course, there'll be lots of organisation happening ready for sports 2018.
Yeah, that's right. If you can, put in a bit of time before the season. You know, it's highly recommended. Get a start ASAP, and then before you go on a break, you'll feel much better.
Chips, you're a legend. Great to see you.
Fish. Great to be back.
Fish and Chips, our sports wrap up, and of course, always a little bit quiet at this time of year. We'd like to do a lot more sports wrap up next year. Yeah. We want all your sports results. We want all your sports information.
And we want someone in,
and we want you to come in and tell us
every
all
day.
about your sports.
Every week. Someone
every
from a club. Come in every week.
Always a pleasure. We've got to go to the news.
Okay, have a great day, everyone.
We're running late.
Thanks, Fish.
6WR Warren-Garry Radio is the Aboriginal voice of the East Kimberley.
693 6WR, live and local across the East Kimberleys. National news.
I'm Amy Meehan. Senior Coalition ministers are calling on Queens